Chair, there is an important point which must be made about the scale of the problem which confronts us. Human trafficking is not a distant crisis. It is happening in front of our eyes every day in our communities, in our clubs, and on our streets. The Human Sciences Research Council estimates that up to 250,000 people have fallen victim of human trafficking practices in South Africa. It has been found that South Africa is not only a host for human trafficking, but equally facilitates the sourcing of victims and transferring of them to other countries. Every year, thousands of women and children disappear without a trace, recruited under false pretense, and forced into sexual exploitation and domestic servitude. Criminal syndicates are operating openly and confidently in South Africa because our state has collapsed, our police are under-resourced, and our criminal justice system is compromised. Victims report cases, yet no arrests are made, dockets disappear, and prosecutors lose evidence. Under this government, justice is not just delayed, it is denied. As if that is not enough, those in power are also at war with each other. Many of you sitting here use the same syndicates to fight your own political battles and even go as far as killing your own comrades and colleagues. This is precisely what the President and Commander-in-Chief of the EFF is going to address in the ad hoc committee into the allegations and revelations of General Mkhwanazi. For this reason, we shall use this opportunity to deal with another urgent matter which is confronting us, an issue which affects young people directly and violently, not with weapons, but with policies designed to destroy their future. There is a minister here who has been bought by white-collar criminals to sell and blacklist the youth of South Africa. It is not a secret that debt is a tradable asset. It is sold, it is repackaged so that predatory financial institutions can make profit. This minister, we are told, has lined up all his criminal friends who are debt collectors to buy the poor debts of students and the youth of South Africa. These criminals are going to call our students day and night, harassing them about this debt and threatening them. By the way, a blacklisted young person cannot get a job. A blacklisted young person cannot get their first home. A blacklisted young person cannot get access to financing. A blacklisted young person cannot get access to their first cars and cannot even start their first businesses. These are students who studied under impossible conditions, hungry, without laptops and textbooks, sleeping in lecture halls and lecture theaters, yet they finished their qualifications against all odds. But when it is time to graduate, they can't graduate. Why? Because you withhold their certificates because they owe the universities money. Now you want to punish them for the second time. You've punished them already by not giving them their certificates. Now you are punishing them by blacklisting them. This same government will condemn our youth in a permanent cycle of debt, poverty, and humiliation. It will strip them of their dignity and punish them for pursuing an education. The Deputy Minister of Trade ran away. I'm not going to waste my time with him. I was just going to advise him to read the Gazette of March 2015, including the proposed amendment on Regulation 19. So we must ask the question, who benefits when an educated black youth doesn't have access to the economy? Who benefits when our youth desperate, even fall prey for human trafficking syndicates? Who benefits when our young people are sitting at home, unemployed, depressed, drowning in alcohol and drug abuse? I'll tell you who benefits. It's the human trafficking syndicates. It's the syndicates that fund your lifestyles. It's the syndicates that buy expensive cars and expensive houses for ministers in government and their children. This is a betrayal of the June 16 generation. This is a betrayal of the fees must fall generation. This is the betrayal of students who took it to the streets seeking an education and instead received bullets, instead received arrest and victimization. Years later, you want to criminalize them. You want to criminalize them for owing debt. Yet this same government said to them, the doors of learning shall be open. You said to them they must go to school. They've gone to school. They've finished their academic requirements. You don't want to give them their degrees. And on top of that, you want to blacklist them. We're calling on the youth of South Africa. We can't be complainants forever. We must unite in parliament and in the streets of South Africa. We're going to fight this policy here in parliament, but we're also going to fight it in the streets. We will never retreat. We will never allow you to destroy the youth of this country. We're going to meet you in the portfolio committee meetings. We're going to meet you in the streets of South Africa. We're calling on all young people. Let us reject these people that want to blacklist the youth and students of South Africa.
Thank you, Honourable Member.
No surrender.
Your time is now expired.
Let us meet.
Honourable Member, thank you.
Sihle Lonzi once said, "Imagine finishing school, only to be hunted by debt collectors." The ANC and its criminal ministers want to blacklist the youth for trying to get an education. That means no house, no car, no business, no future. We will fight them till the end. With those fiery words, we dive into one of South Africa's most painful debates, the cost of higher education, the weight of student debt, and the fear that graduates may see their dreams collapse before they begin. Education has always been called the great equaliser. Politicians love the phrase. But how equal is it if the very certificate you fight for becomes the chain that drags you into debt and despair? That's the reality Lonzi is pointing at. Picture this. A young person battles through matric, secures a spot at university, survives strikes, load shedding, and endless queues, only to graduate with a qualification and a mountain of debt. Many owe money to NSFAS, and now face the threat of being blacklisted if they cannot pay. And in South Africa, blacklisting is brutal. You cannot get credit. You cannot buy a home. You cannot finance a car or even open certain business accounts. The young person who dreamed of a better life is punished for daring to pursue education. This taps into a long history. Under apartheid, higher education was restricted to keep the majority down. In 1994, the promise was to open the doors of learning. But here we are, decades later, and students are still marching, still clashing with police, over the same issue, fees. The #fees must fall movement shook the country, forcing government to pause and reflect. Yet despite promises, NSFAS remains riddled with corruption, ghost students, and billions vanishing without trace. Who pays the price? Not ministers, but ordinary graduates who find themselves chased by debt collectors before they even land a job. Here's the irony. South Africa desperately needs skilled workers. Engineers, nurses, accountants, our economy is starving for them. But the very people who could fill those gaps are tied up by debt. How do you expect young people to innovate, start businesses, or create jobs when they cannot even open a bank account? Lonzi's words sting because they highlight the imbalance. Politicians steal billions and call it irregular expenditure. A student misses a payment, and it is criminal debt. How fair is that? For many families, the first child to attend university carries not just their own dream, but the entire family's hope. That degree is supposed to lift everyone. But when the graduate returns home jobless and blacklisted, it feels like betrayal, not progress. Globally, student debt is a nightmare. In the United States, it has ballooned into a $1 trillion crisis. Young people they delay buying homes or starting families because they are drowning in loans. South Africa risks the same path, except here, youth unemployment already sits above 40%. So how can anyone expect repayment when jobs are this scarce? Imagine a graduate sending out CVs for months, getting no response, yet still receiving letters from collectors. The only job they land is a short-term contract at a call center, barely enough to survive. And then, on top of that, they are told to pay off debt the size of a mortgage. At some point, it stops being governance and starts looking like cruelty. This is why Lonzi's attack on the ANC resonates. It is not just fiery youth talk. It reflects a growing anger across the country. How dare leaders, many of them implicated in corruption, demand repayment from poor students while shielding connected elites. The ANC will argue that debt must be repaid to keep NSFAS running. That is the technical case. But politics is not just about numbers, it is about trust. And right now, that trust is gone. South Africans see money wasted on endless projects, failed IT systems, and power stations that never switch on. If there is money for waste, surely there must be money for education. This is not just an accounting issue. It is a moral test. A government that cannot free its youth from debt is declaring war on its own future. Lonzi has put his finger on that wound, and the pressure is only going to grow. Unless something changes, we will see more protests, more clashes, and more disillusionment. South Africa's young people will not quietly accept being treated as criminals for wanting an education. When Lonzi says, "We will fight them till the end," he is not exaggerating. He is voicing the anger of a generation that knows, without education, there is no freedom, and without freedom, there is no future. That is the uncomfortable truth about the student debt crisis. It is not only about numbers, it is about dignity, fairness, and the soul of this democracy. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more political deep dives, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe blacklisting students is fair, or is it a betrayal of the promise of 1994? Until next time, stay engaged, stay critical, and remember, education should build futures, not bury them. See you next time.